The Central Asian Report is a program about the ongoing geopolitical trends and the panorama of the present-day realities in Central Asia.
Politics, economics and culture, events, trends and people, all this on one territory. Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report in today's program. Early spring in Tajikistan, time to collect the harvest. Only the best for the children, trainers of the Real Madrid football club in Central Asia. Notice, celebration of the UN General Assembly. And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. In Turkmenistan, new customs duties have been introduced on the import of auto vehicles. From now on, for an automobile that was manufactured less than a year ago, a customs duty of 2% of its nominal value will have to be paid. For a vehicle that was manufactured more than a year ago, 10% of its value. For a model of 2 years and older, 25%, and 40% for a model that is older than 4 years. According to the country's Minister of Internal Affairs, the aim of the new tariffs is to regulate the imports of vehicles into Turkmenistan and to protect the interests of consumers with regards to environmental safety. As a note, imports of old and illegal cars, as well as of cars of the BMW, Audi and Mercedes-Benz brands, have already been forbidden for the same reasons.
BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz.
Uzbekistan's Ministry of Finance has approved new tariffs of natural gas for the general population and enterprises of the country. From April 1st of 2016, the cost of 1 cubic meter of natural gas will be increased by 8%. In addition, tariffs on cold water will be raised in the country by approximately 6%. The cost of central heating and water, as well as electricity, will also rise. Kyrgyzstan has made it to the list of top 20 tourism destinations of 2016, according to the National Geographic Traveler magazine. The publication advises its readers to visit Kyrgyzstan's city of Tokmok and to see its Kurgan steles. Among other recommendations are a visit to the Osh Bazaar in Bishkek, trekking in the Tian Shan Mountains, and going for a swim in the waters of the Issukul Lake. To note, none of the other Central Asian countries and their attractive sites meet this rating, but out of the CIS countries, Russia and Georgia were included in the list.
Там присутствуют Россия и Грузия.
Plus 30 degrees Celsius in the shade. In February. This was the winter this year, or more like spring in the southern regions of Tajikistan. Obeying the whims of nature, the country's farmers decided to commence the sowing season a month before the usual time, and are already collecting the first harvest. All the details of the successful start of the new agricultural season in the report of our correspondent in Dushanbe. Tajikistan's Hatlan region. Here in the south of the country, spring traditionally commences earlier than in other regions. But this year its arrival was unusually early. Already at the end of February, temperature reached 30 degrees above zero. That is why the usual sowing season was started a couple of weeks earlier. The greenhouses already have no more free space. These are zucchinis, watermelons, peaches, tomatoes, cucumbers. Over there we have melons. We're going to plant. Here watermelons are planted under the plastic. They will ripen already in May. A bit further on, cabbage is being collected. It was planted in autumn. The harvest collection period was expected only in April, but the cabbage came in a month earlier. The cabbage is ready for harvest. This one weighs 6 kilograms, and this one 7 kilograms. Akram John divided up his territory of 15 hectares so as to collect one harvest after another. The red and white cabbage will be taken to the market in a couple of days. Once I collect all the cabbage, I will plant the rice. It requires a lot of water, which is why I'm setting up the water supply. This land provides for my entire family, and I get stable income. The most important is to follow the weather and the market. Ibodullah Mirza Sharipov, aside from the cultivation of vegetables, set up a garden. He's planning to build a lemonarium and a storage space. And the man is 70 years old. He also manages an entire Deccan farm. A person who is ready to work will always be able to earn their bread. Any Dakhan farmer can achieve a lot. We have all the necessary conditions. One of the principles of modern farming in Tajikistan to make sure that not an inch of tillage land is wasted. For example, in this town, the words of the president were chosen as the work slogan. Not a single inch of land should be untilled. We planted 6 types of grapes. The harvest will come in only in 5 years. So that this land would not go to waste, we decided to cultivate it. Before the grapes are ready, we'll be able to collect the onion harvest and then to plant carrots and corn. In the neighboring farm, cooperation has been established with buyers from Russia. Sukhro Bakayev has such a big onion harvest that 43 years in a row he has been exporting his produce to the Orenburg region. And in order to avoid the food crisis for sure, this year between the plots he decided to plant trees of other fruits, plums, black cherries, and Diosporus. From 1 hectare, I collect 60 to 70 tons of onion. Then in its place, I plant corn. My goal is to collect 3 harvests a year from each hectare, and I will achieve this. I'm confident that with efforts, drought and low water shortage will not harm the crops. The work is buzzing on all the fields across the country. Some are sowing and planting, and some are collecting the harvest. Overall, this year promises to be a high harvest year. Tajikistan's Ministry of Agriculture is planning to increase export volumes to other CIS countries. For example, recently, an agreement was reached on the supplies of early onions. 500 tons will be sent abroad in the beginning of April from the Hatlon region. Real help. The trainers of the legendary football club Real Madrid conducted a series of master classes for juniors in Central Asia. Our correspondent in Almaty attended these unique training sessions and will now bring us the story. Joly was raised in one of Almaty's foster homes. For almost a year, he's been playing for the Kazakh football club, but aside from his own team, he's also a fan of the Real Madrid club. The young man never imagined that a day would come that he would be on the same pitch with the trainers of his favorite club from Spain. Already on his second day here, he started playing, and overall took upon himself a leadership role. I see that for him this is an invaluable contribution not only towards his football prospects, but also has an overall positive psychological effect. This promising junior athlete and the trainers of the legendary football club, Daniel Landeboro and Javier Garcia Diaz-Aguado, ended up on the same pitch thanks to the Global Fund of the Real Madrid Football Club. This fund organizes a series of masterclasses for young football players all across the world. Ten young athletes from Almaty's foster homes took part in the master classes for free. Others paid approximately 145,000 tenge for 5 1.5-hour training sessions. The money that the Real Madrid Fund collects from these classes, minus all the expenses, are channeled into those very countries and regions for opening socially oriented schools. In accordance with the contract agreement, trainers are not allowed to communicate with journalists. That is why everything that they say is as valuable as gold, especially on the field.
Left or right? Right. I'm here. Left. Put the ball and change the leg. Here, left. Right. Left.
Almaty's Football Federation provided 4 local trainers to aid the trainers from Spain. For them, this is also a new experience, pedagogical, which can then be used during their own trainings.
Здесь мы учим первое – техника, скоростное.
Some of the first things we learn are the technique, speed, dribbling, ball control, how to handle the ball, to receive, to pass, and only in the end we play. Children enjoy playing the most.
В этой игре дети самые получают удовольствие от игры.
Of course, it is not possible to teach all the intricacies of football in just 5 days. For the organizers, the most important is to motivate the younger people to continue to be engaged in sports. By the way, not just young athletes from Almaty had a chance to participate in these kinds of master classes, but also players from Astana, Karaganda, Atrau, Uskümen, and even Bishkek.
Ребенок у нас чуть ли не с рождения.
Our kid wanted to play football probably from the moment that he was born. Right now he's playing in a football club and has the opportunity to take part in such master classes to learn from international professional experience.
Получить какой-то опыт, международный опыт.
During these master classes, I want to learn about the philosophy of Real Madrid.
Философию Реал Мадрида.
Even the multiple-time football champion of Kazakhstan, Marina Volkova, could not resist taking part in these unique training sessions. The athlete is confident that these classes seriously discipline the beginning football players. And in order to have something to remember this experience by, organizers of the masterclass gave all the participants real jerseys of the Real Madrid Football Club. Turkic music playing from the stands of the UN General Assembly. This is how the United Nations organization celebrated the arrival of Nowruz. In honor of this ancient holiday, a big concert was organized at the New York headquarters. Our special correspondent in the US visited the festive events and prepared a report on the specificities of celebrating Nowruz on this grand level.
Празднование Наурыза на высшем уровне.
The Assembly Hall of the UN General Assembly. Usually the fates of nations and states are decided here. But today, all the attention of the UN is focused not on politicians, but on musicians, singers, and dancers. The concert of the General Assembly is an unusually exclusive event. It is dedicated to Nowruz. Especially for this event, more than 150 artists from Turkic countries arrived in New York. The program included traditional dances, ethnic music, and presentation of pieces by Turkic composers. Today we presented the unity of our peoples, our love for each other, our respect. That is why it is a great honor for all of us. The evening also included a presentation of premieres. For the first time, the combined orchestra of traditional Turkic instruments performed. The international collective, a week before the performance, gathered together musicians representing various countries and autonomous territories.
It was so inspiring, and it shows how when countries come together, there are a force, and the force of culture that transcend all boundaries and all countries. So it's the language of love, it's the language of spring, and it's the language of hope.
At the UN headquarters, artists gathered together under the auspices of Turksoy, the International Organization of Turkic Culture. In his welcoming speech, the UN Deputy Secretary General Jan Eliasson expressed his respect for the noble work of the Turksoy on the preservation of the cultural heritage of Turkic countries and their unity.
Надо отдать должное организации Turksoy.
We should give Turksoy its due to Professor Kasinov and also all the countries which are supporting this. Today, the audience in New York had a chance to see how to celebrate Nowruz.
Праздновать с какой яркостью праздник Невруз.
The concert of the UN General Assembly was a major success. Eurasian artists and their performances were warmly received by the sophisticated New York public with enthusiastic ovations. Today, the Turkic New Year is well known way beyond the boundaries of Eurasia. Nowruz is recognized by the UN as an international holiday. In addition, it is included into the list of the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. These kinds of concerts are organized not just to remind about this ancient celebration, but to also show the traditions of how it is celebrated and to popularize it among the non-Turkic nations.
На этом все.
You are watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.
Kazakh TV.